I'm Kevin with Swypit, and of course, you're watching the Swypit show on the Success Network. Hey, I want you to have a great morning and always like, share, all those social media things when you see our show so that you can always be notified when the show goes live. And of course, we were supposed to start a little earlier, but of course, computers have a little thing that happens with them, and sometimes they don't work as well as they should. But that's what live shows are all about. But it's beautiful that we're able to be here today. We appreciate you. And of course, what we're going to talk about today on the Swipe It show, because we're in the credit card processing business. You've got questions, we've got answers. We want to help you. We're good at what we do. You're good at what you do. You want to surround yourself with experts, and we are the experts in credit card processing. And that topic today is, bam, why do different credit cards have different processing fees? And of course, you've got these credit cards in your pockets. You just don't realize that each one has a different fee. And of course, when it comes to fees, it's how you process it. So, how you process as a merchant is going to affect how the fees come into play. So, how you actually process that credit card is important. So, let's say that you're a merchant and you take retail business, you're swiping and you're chipping and you're hand keying. Maybe you are working with internet and you're having products sold, you're using a fulfillment center. There's so many different ways to process a transaction, and how you process that credit card, you, the merchant, is what's going to create dilemmas and issues and problems. A lot of times you'll sign up for a merchant account, and some of these individuals will say, "Oh, we'll use this account, and we'll just set up your credit card processing for your internet with the same merchant account." Eh, bad idea. The internet costing structures are different than retail face to face, and how you're processing that card could cause you some grief later, because let's just say someone actually has your transaction from an internet transaction. Imagine somebody sitting home in their underwear and they're going to run a credit card over the internet. They purchase product, they purchased it with someone else's credit card, and then that product's delivered. Those individuals in turn have stolen product because they used somebody else's credit card. The actual person of that credit card now has stated, "Hey, guess what? I am the owner of that credit card, and hey, that person used my credit card." Well, what the heck am I going to do? Well, what I do is, as a consumer, just like you, I am going to do a chargeback. So now the customer who ordered on the internet gets their product, gets the product that was paid with your credit card. When it's paid with your credit card, that's stealing, right? Now you've got a retail face-to-face merchant account set up. The credit card processing company is going to go, "What the heck are you doing connecting your website to your retail account?" Guess what? They're going to shut your merchant account down because you're not supposed to be doing that. So, when and how you process a credit card is going to affect a lot of factors in your business. Now, you know what's happening right nowadays? Retail business owners, when they swipe a credit card. So there's a whole bunch of point of sale companies out there that are not doing the right things by their customers. They haven't created point of sale products that can chip credit cards. Every single credit card has a chip in it now. And if you swipe that credit card and they only have swipers, like I envision Olive Garden. I don't remember last time I've been there, but all most of their swipers have little swipers on the side, and they're not chipping cards. Maybe they've upgraded them since. Who knows? Maybe during COVID, people were, you know, picking up doing the right things by their clients. Who knows? I don't know. I can't talk about all these point of sale providers because they really drive me crazy sometimes when they lock people in for their merchant services. That's a whole nother topic, which we've touched on the first one. But, I'm going to tell you that when these people are swiping credit cards and they don't chip them, there are fees, lots of them, that all of the processing companies now are hitting every single merchant with. So You swipe the card, you settle it, you get paid. The consumer fund is deducted from them. They pay their credit cards. Everybody's doing everything they're supposed to be doing except you, the merchant. And that card issuer now is saying to the processing company, hey, you're not actually doing the processing of these credit cards in the right way. You've got to make sure that you're charging additional fees to get the merchant to get a slap in the face to wake up and start doing things the right way. The problem is the merchant is using a point of sale provider that hasn't come into the 21st century and has upgraded systems. There's new ways to do this where you can actually attach a pin pad device to certain software, and that gives the ability to chip the card. So like when you go into Target, you go into Walmart, and you pay yourself and it says insert card, and then it might ask for a pin. It may do things in a way that's going to make sure that these customers, your customers, are processing the credit cards the right way. Which brings me to another thing, contactless payments, Apple Pay, Google Pay, all these different ways that you can actually tap credit cards. So you don't actually tap them. You want to actually hold it on top of the screen of whatever device that you're paying through, wait for the green lights to go across, and then remove your card. You're not actually just tapping it and walking away. You have to hold it there long enough for it to do the transaction. I'm going to tell you that is the fastest way to do a transaction. So when you chip, it's got to read the information on the chip. While it might be pretty quick, tapping has become the fastest way to process a credit card. We have machines now that are Wi-Fi, and these Wi-Fi machines, man, they are blazing fast. And if you want a Wi-Fi machine, we'll hook you up with one. But I have to tell you, I was with one of my favorite clients just over the past few days doing a big install, and I'm going to tell you that they're the smartest merchants on the planet because they're not even using integrated payments. They've got separate credit card machines, and they always are covered. They've got the exact devices that they need to be processing a credit card in the right manner because they can chip them, they can swipe them if they maybe the card still doesn't have a chip on them, but they've got all the right stuff. They're doing all the right stuff. And I tell them all the time, I go, you are super smart. And I'm really proud to have them as a client. And it is well worth having the knowledge to work with an expert. And when you're working with an expert in what they're doing, you will always get the correct results. When you work with a point of sale company, these are engineers, these are software developers. They are thinking of what's easier for them. Let me repeat that. These people are doing what's easier for them, which is the wrong way to be taking care of clients. So they will only use a certain merchant service provider, and that can be a problem because they may not be getting you PCI compliant. They may be notifying you, and then the point of sale people, the software developers are going, oh, we're PCI compliant. And then you're in big trouble. So now the way you're processing a credit card, whether it's on the internet, whether it's a hand keyed transaction, whether you're swiping or chipping, and now you have a breach. That's a problem. What's happening right now with all the ransomware stuff? Man, if you know anything about what's going on in the world today, ransomware, they're taking over computers. And if you've got a computer system that you have your integrated credit card processing with, and you are hacked, you are out of business. Out of business. Now, you're saying, oh, that'll never happen to me. Well, I'm sure that those thousands of stores that had to shut down for days all over the world in the past week, I'm sure that you're going, well, I hope that never happens to me. It's not if, it's when. That's a big problem. And everybody that's out there that has a business should be paying attention and making sure that they're compliant. They've got all the holes plugged up for their actual computer systems. You know, people can pull right up to your business, sit in their car, connect to your Wi-Fi in a way that you're not even realizing that they can connect to it because you had an IT guy that was not a professional in his business come in, set up your network, He uses the one password everybody knows. And what they do is a lot of people go into your business, they take your keyboard, right? Like this. And people, I can't believe people do this, but they put on the back of their keyboards their passwords to get into their computers. What the hell's wrong with those people? If you're doing that, stop it right now. Look on the back of somebody's keyboard. Just go into somebody's business, pick it up. You're going to see all kinds of passwords there. And you know what their password is? Password. PASSWORD. So, you want to be careful because ransomware companies are charging millions of dollars to get back your system. You can get your company closed down by that. You're processing credit cards the incorrect way. You're connecting with point of sale providers that are integrated. They don't care about your best interests. They care about themselves because they want to make life easier because they just sell another product. Real experts in their field are not doing that. They are doing what the difficult thing is to have you as a client. And if they're paying attention to the details, like we do at Swypit, then you'll have the opportunity to be more successful in your business, not worrying about all of the other baloney that goes on in the world. I mean, how do you like all those stupid phone calls we get? Hey, yeah, yeah, my warranty's expired. Oh, yeah, great. Yeah, how many times are they going to call me when I don't have cars that are out of warranty? They're so full of crap, it's pathetic. We have to stop listening to people that have no idea what they're doing. We got to stop taking calls from telemarketers that are trying to access things. You don't know who they are. Why would you talk to them? You think it's okay to, would you take somebody, hello, yeah, you open up the door of your front house. Oh, well, we're in the area. We're going to be talking today about your direct TV. You don't know who those people are. They were dropped off on the corner by some organization and they're canvassing whatever. They're going to probably get you to write down your credit card number. Big no. Hello. You know what I mean? That's a problem as a consumer. People writing down the credit card number. So let's say you have a service technician that comes to your home and they want to process the credit card and they're writing the credit card numbers down. How you take that credit card as the merchant and then put it back into the system when those people get into the office, they probably didn't get the CVV code. They probably didn't write down the proper address or the zip code. And that's another way you're processing a credit card that you're going to pay more money to process. Everybody complains about how the processing fees are high. A lot of times the way you process a credit card, your own way you're doing it, is creating you to pay a ton more in fees. We don't want you to pay more in fees. We want you to pay the least amount in fees. But the way you process a credit card is going to cost you more money if you're not following all the protocols. And these protocols are put in place for a reason. So what they do is they keep dinging you with higher fees because they're trying to slap you in the face to get you to do the right things. Now, I'm not trying to be Kevin Downer over here, but of course, I'm trying to make sure that people understand that there's proper procedures and the details of how you process is going to affect how you run your business. So, of course, the different ways you're processing credit cards, so we've covered hand-keyed transactions. You got to get the correct information. So let's go over that again. If you're swiping a card, you're going to pay more fees because you don't have the proper equipment. Period. End of story. Every processor is charging more money for it. They're like pocketing that money like, it's like a chiclet and you're just chewing gum all day. Damn, why should we pay more money just because we don't have the proper equipment? Spend the money and get the right equipment or work with somebody that provides the equipment at no cost. We do. Now you've got a hand-keyed transaction, a Moto transaction. And those hand-keyed transactions, when you're doing those hand-keyed transactions, you want to get CVV code. You want to get the address. You want to get the zip code. Everybody says to me, oh, it takes too much time. Well, as long as you know that you're going to pay more, that's what I tell them. I go, you're going to pay more to process that. Not because I want to. It's because the card issuer is requesting you put it in. Internet transactions. Internet transactions, if you're putting in a gateway that's in your system, make sure that it's got certain things checked. We can go over internet transactions in much more detail. But when you do an internet transaction or your customer is putting in the information, they should be putting in their name, their address, their CVV code, all that information, and it's typically all encrypted. And hopefully your own system has some sort of certificate, a security, an SSL, that is giving you the ability to make sure that anything you transmit over the internet is now safe and secure for your clients. Because if you aren't putting in the right information as an SSL, and this is not an inexpensive thing to do, but I can tell you that a lot of times your own IT department don't know that they have the right certificate or not. There are SSLs out there that can really goof you up. Either way, work with a professional that shows you the correct things when you're having an internet account, whether you're having a Moto account, whether you have a retail account, whether you're chipping the card. These are things that are important while you're working with a professional to make sure that you are always getting the best price structure for your credit card and being set up the proper way to process the credit card, the way the card issuer has requested you, the consumer, to do it. And a lot of times that just lies with working with the wrong company. There are companies that are going to be cheap, cheap, cheap. And everybody that's cheap is cutting corners. And when they're cutting corners, you can get in a lot of trouble. And we don't want to see you get in trouble. We want you to be set up properly. We want to take care of you. Again, hey, listen, we've got a shorter show today. I'm going to cut this one short today because, of course, we started a little late, and that's okay. I don't know if you are watching on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you're watching it from. We appreciate you watching. We want you to be in the best position you can be in. But more importantly, if you can like this or subscribe to this on whatever social media platform that you are on, we would surely appreciate that. And of course, I love being on the Success Network. Thanks so much for Ryan. He's out there doing stuff. And of course, our next show, we'll talk about some other cool stuff. And we'll keep it short today. You have a great afternoon. And remember, do what you want when you want. Thanks so much, Ryan. Take us out.